And now Buddhism is finally arrived in China. So it became influential in northern way and flourished in Tang Dynasty. So northern dynasty during the Three Kingdoms and Six Dynasties, they were founded by northern people, nomadic tribes, and then they felt more comfortable in accepting Buddhism, which was coming from ancient India to China, and Buddhism was against the caste system of ancient India. So that Buddhism is a little bit more egalitarian. So Buddhism was not very popular in India after, let's say, 5th century CE. So by the time it came to the Northern Wei dynasty in the 5th century, Buddhism was no longer the most popular religion in India, but it became the most influential in China. And then many Indian monks eventually will come to China to translate Sanskrit texts into Chinese text. So this map shows how Buddhism spread along the Silk Road, right? This is Gandhara area. And then traveled along the Silk Road and eventually came to China. And then this is one of the first statues created in China. The date is 338. So very important, we have 3 stars. So this one shows a Chinese understanding of Buddhist art, mature form. So it's made by Chinese artisans. Clothes became a little bit Chinese style, covering both the shoulders, and then the face became a little bit flat. But what they were imitating was that the previous ones that we were watching, this type of Gandhara style head that they were creating. And then this is Winkang cave temples made by Northern Wei rulers. And there are the 5 caves that are very important. So they are usually dated to 5th century. And then if you go further to the west, there is a town called Dunhuang. And that's very important gateway to arrive in China. So Dunhuang, there were Buddhist monks from Central Asia or Buddhist monks from India, and also merchants that travel along the Silk Road. They all stayed in Dunhuang, and they stayed near Buddhist temples, and sometimes stayed a few years because the weather was so bad, or if there is war nearby, they cannot travel. So here you have that Indian style wall painting, and there are how many caves? People usually say like 1,000 caves at Dunhuang. So from the Northern Wei period all the way to Tang period, 500 years, they had that many caves in Dunhuang. So Tang Dynasty, the Sui Dynasty was a brief period, but if you become Tang Dynasty capital is here called Xi'an or Chang'an, and this is the famous Great Wall. They built many Buddhist cave temples here in Luoyang or other areas. But Xi'an, they had largest temples. So this is map, and what's interesting is there were so many Buddhist monasteries. You see a little like a star mark all over the place. And so what does it tell us? Tang Dynasty emperors, they sponsored many other religions as well, like Buddhism, Taoism, Manichaeism, Nestorianism. This is a sort of a heretic chapter of Christianity and Mazdian religion. But you can see that Buddhist monasteries were most numerous, right, here and there. And they were major patrons of Buddhism. But during the Tang Dynasty, Buddhism is actually one of the cultural components that traveled along the Silk Road, one of many cultural components. So what else came? Foreign merchants. This is a painted pottery showing a foreign merchant. He walked, usually the travel takes more than 6 months from Persia, area like West Asia, all the way to Chang'an. So he's traveling. And do you know what he's holding right here? A lot of people said it's a money pouch, but you don't show your money pouch while you are traveling, right? Because it's probably sewn together with his clothes, right, inside his jackets. He never takes off jackets. What is this? Water bottle. And I always say to my students that this is similarity between New Yorkers, right? We also carry our own water bottle. This water bottle is made of what is it? Leather. It's like called a flat flask. So sometimes you can see that silicone flat flask sold in the market. So if you put the water, then it becomes a little bit like a pouch, right? Swells. And if you don't have any water, then it shrinks, right? Like a flat. So this is like made of leather. So this is a symbol of his nomadic status. He's traveling, or he has big beards, different types of head. So anybody can recognize that this is not the Chinese people, or like one of Chinese people, the foreign merchant. Or they can get sort of a Roman Empire era necklace. They were actually trading with the Byzantine Empire at the same time. Or also Central Asian musicians were coming to China. And again, what is this animal? Camel, right? It's not horse. So from India or from Central Asia, you have this exotic music played by exotic musicians and exotic animals, and those were very welcomed by Chinese people during the Tang Dynasty.